So here we are, arriving at part 2 of the plain truth, a little series of instruction on the swing plane. As I said earlier, can be quite a complicated concept or subject, so let's examine it without fear. But when it comes to playing, forget about it. Stick to the mantra, prepare, load, release. Remember that, prepare, load, release. That's what you can do on the golf course. But let's talk about the plane. So I've just explained in the first piece that the blow down the post is the blow in plane. This is a total miss. This is glancing. This is glancing. But it's the blow down the post. That's the blow in plane. But let's go a stage further. If I turn sideways to you, you can see that to all intents and purposes, the club, or the hammerhead in this case, is travelling in a circular motion. Okay? So if I actually use a mallet, you can see how simple that is. It is purely an arc that strikes the post. That's the blow in plane. Now, you know in reality, things would change. What's the task here? Well, the task is not to be in plane. The task is to drive the stake into the ground. Let's just remember that. The task is not to control this. The task is to strike that. Now, there's the circular motion, there's the arc. But you know what happens. I want this to go into the ground. So I would drive the post downwards. In other words, I would elongate the strike. And the more I go down, the more power. A glancing blow from either side or a deflected blow is no good. I need the blow in plane, but I need to go down the plane line for as long as I can. If this is a rugby conversion, it's no good just going whack. The conversion kick will go anywhere. The fact of the matter is, I elongate the strike and go through. Now, there's a big phrase in teaching these days about turning left through the golf ball, in the downswing. Apparently, Tiger was sitting next to Mr. Gary Player at the past champions dinner at Augusta. And Tiger turned to Gary and said, "Mr. Player, I'm confused about my golf swing. Do you have any comments?" And Gary Player, fountain of so much good knowledge, said, "Well, Tiger," he said, "I've played all the modern greats, from Byron Nelson to Ben Hogan, Sam Snead, to Nicklaus Watson, Ballesters, you name it, I've played with the modern greats." He said, "I've never seen great players turn left through the ball." And that's a big statement. I've never seen great players live left through the ball. So, where's that come from? Well, the fact of the matter is, most tournament pros are strong, hit the ball left under pressure. And one of the counteractions to hitting the ball left as a good player is to keep your hips turning, your body turning, and to make sure that the ball goes down. There's an elongation of the strike. So the point I want to make is this. The elongation of itself is not the first move. It is a rotation that is towards the target. So when I come into impact with a golf club, let's go back to the idea we're striking in plane, but it's not just an arc, it elongates the strike and we stay down the plane line. And Dr. Paul Hurrian, who examined every player's weight shift with the pressure plates under their feet, every pro on tour was linear towards the target. And the better the player, the later they turned left. So I'm not saying that we don't have to turn left at some point through the golf swing and in the through swing. But the fact of the matter is, we elongate the strike and the weight shift is reflected in going towards the target. And Paul Hurrian discovered that the better the player, the longer they were linear. Now, eventually there's nowhere to go, so we have to turn left. The danger is getting to the top and turning left straight away. Then you're giving the post on the floor a glancing blow, or in this case, the golf ball glancing blow. So let me just show that down the line. Yes, we know the swing plane describes an arc. There's the club travelling around my body, the club head. It comes down, and I'm elongating the strike. I'm going forward there, through, for as long as I can. I want to show you in a minute a picture of Lee Trevino. In the early 70s, they measured him through impact, and he kept the club face squarer for longer than anybody else on tour at the time. And those that you've seen Trevino in the flesh know what a great ball striker he is. So, do we turn left? Yes, we do at some point. But if we're going to hit the ball in plane, down the plane line towards the target, We want an elongated blow, one that goes towards the target for as long as it can. And you get that in Mo Norman, you get that in lots of great players, and you see them, the shaft is rising and they're going down the plane line. The idea of keeping the shaft low and turning left, in the old days, folks, we called it a fade. If you hit a fade, the shaft stays down through impact. When you hit a draw, it rises, all things being equal. So it's one of those strange little tags that modern teachers come up with, turning left through the ball. Well, in the old days, that was called a fade. A bit like saying using the ground. That's like saying a boat uses water. You go, you know, it's a natural thing, isn't it? You don't have to think about it. If you're elongating the strike, your weight shift towards the target is going to be correct. It's going to be linear towards the target. Yes, it will turn left, but if you turn left early, it's not a good thing, particularly when you're under pressure.